All right, what you got?
Well, what more can you say about Miles Garrett, the season that he's having, and have you ever seen anything like it?
He's got a lot more to give. And I'm super proud of him for where he is right now. But this isn't the final story yet. He's doing a really good job within the scheme, and like I've told you guys before, I'm always most proud of the way he plays the run as opposed to how he rushes the passer. And it's a lot to be proud of the way he rushes the passer, but to have the production he has with the opportunities he's had, and also with the attention that he receives, it's fun to watch.
There's more to get.
Because we got a lot more games to play, and there's a lot more great things he can do for us. So that's sort of where I am with it. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to postmortem the season before the final chapter's been written, and he's got a lot of chapters to write.
That said, do you feel like, especially after challenging him, early this offseason after he got the contract, do you feel like he's playing at the highest level that you've seen him since you've been here?
He's playing at a high level. Miles has always played at a high level, but I do appreciate his attitude of working hard to improve. I told that anecdote a couple weeks ago, being on the practice field and just like not wanting to come off and waving any sub out, which again is really unusual. I know you guys like to talk a lot about who gets first team reps, but in that case, it's fun to watch. But he's still hungry. He wears it really well. He knows he's a marked man, and and I think number one, he's also really done a good job of celebrating the other guys around him, which has probably allowed him to have a little bit more success. I don't know that his pass rush win rate has really improved a lot, but having some other guys up there that that he encourages, that he works with, has made a big difference for him, particularly our inside pass rush.
Alex Wright got a new deal, so he's here for the long run.
Yeah,
You've
really.
seen him improve.
Yeah, really proud of Alex too. Alex has played really good football for us and just been derailed by a couple injuries. Most notably the one last year, and was really being productive. We really missed Alex last year. Number one, he is a physical presence in the run game. He's got great size. Some of our best plays on the edge are Alex taking on pullers and knocking tight ends back, and those are things we really value. And he's rushed really well for us too, and been a good compliment. A lot of times we look at individual performances. It's hard to ignore Miles' individual performance. But when it's all said and done, D-line has a lot of like O-line components to it, in that it's the production of the group, and like generally offensive line, it's not just one guy that gets beat or one guy that has success, and it's pretty much the same way across the defensive line, and Alex has played a really strong part of that. We have a good rotation up there. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back on the field pretty quickly. But yeah, and I think it's a good sign also when you're drafting and developing your players. We know how hard it is to sign those guys. Pass rushers aren't cheap. Finding those guys in the free agent market. So I think it's a good sign for us that we're developing some players and getting production out of guys like Alex and Zay and Cam and all across the board.
What about Carson getting the NFL Rookie of the Week honor, and Grant today? And I think after the game mentioned playing at like an All-Pro level, not just a Rookie of the Year level. Like, what do you think in that regard?
Yeah, I gave him a big compliment on Monday, because I was with Ray Lewis his first 3 years in the NFL, and I don't think, and Ray's obviously a Hall of Famer, maybe the best ever to play the middle linebacker position, but the command that Carson has now, in a lot of respects, took Ray his third year in the league before, middle linebacker is a hard position. Linebacker is a hard position to play for a young player. You have to have all of the run fits. You have to have the physicality to play in there. You have to be a productive tackler. You have to know all the blitzes. You have to have all the coverage components. And a lot of times it takes guys sort of piecemeal to put all of that stuff together, right? They come out as rookies and, wow, they really play the run well, but they got work on the pass, or they don't really rush well. And that's no disrespect to any player that's ever played. It's just that's what goes on in the NFL. It's a very difficult position, and he's been right in the middle of it, and it's been fun to watch because not only does he do all that stuff well, but he has great command. He's a great leader for us. He's our play caller. Very rarely makes a mistake. When he does make a mistake, it doesn't repeat, and he's very productive on the field. So that's well deserved from him. But a little bit like we were talking about Miles, that's not going to stand alone for this season. We got a lot of football to play, and there's a lot of plays left for Carson to make. We talked earlier, and you guys saw a lot of training camp, and you saw the interceptions and the plays on the ball. And early in the season, we weren't seeing that. And we just said, it's just a matter of time because the guy's a magnet for the ball, and we've started seeing that recently too, game-changing plays like that. So really proud of his development. Really big hats off to him. Big hat off, or big salute to Coach Tarver, who does a great job with the linebackers in general. But to get a rookie producing at that level is pretty significant.
What was that play he made with Lamar in space?
I mean, that's going to be on our teach tape for how to play the zone read the way that we play it. There's a lot of different ways people play. Like some people surf the defensive end, some people do a chase scrape, and some people have dedicated guys. But the way we played it there, that's exactly how you want to play it. And that's not an average quarterback out there. I mean, that's an open field nightmare. And you could just see Carson just low blood pressure out there. Took proper leverage, got off the block. Started the game with that, and they didn't go back to it as the game went on. And I think that had a lot to do with it. Yeah, but there's a lot of players over the next however many years that are going to see that play because anytime you put plays like that on tape, coaches use that to say, like, okay, this is the technique we're talking about. This is how we want it to be played. Hey, let's take a look at some plays on tape. We call them teach tape plays, and that was one of them.
On the Mark Andrews play this past Sunday, with as much of a copycat league that this is and the attention to the tush push the past couple of years, you think we'll start seeing more variations, kind of like what the Ravens did?
Yeah, I mean, they ran one the week before, 2 weeks before, where they tossed the ball back, and when it's all said and done, everything you do has strengths and weaknesses as far as what it's designed for, what it's good for. And you got 4th and inches right there, and you had a chance to get a stop and stop a quarterback sneak. You gotta take that shot at it. If there was a defense that stopped everything, offenses would never score a point. But we did miss a recognition on that. We gotta get players across when that push guy doesn't push. When he goes to the outside, we should mirror that. We didn't in that. And we were a little too aggressive on the sneak, and it set us up for that. But schematically, we could have. Can we stop that play for 0? In that defense, maybe not. But we shouldn't give up a touchdown. Maybe stop it for 3 or 4. But who knows the way that goes? They pick up a first down there and grind clock out, and all of a sudden they're kicking a field goal maybe with 2 seconds left and, lose. So, we're never trying to give up a touchdown, but at least offense had a chance to have time and go make that play. I'm not trying to make light of it or anything else. We got to stop that play, and we can play it better. But the philosophy there was take the easiest play away, which is quarterback sneak in that situation, try to make them do something else. We just didn't play it well enough when they did, because most teams don't want to go sideways on 4th and inches, particularly in that situation. They did. They made the play. Hats off to them.
The Raiders have a really good tight end, really good rookie running back, and they're down to like one receiver. So does that simplify the defensive game plan?
No, it's never easy when you're facing those kind of guys, particularly Bowers. He might be the best pass receiving tight end in the league right now. He runs like a wide receiver. He runs great routes. He has great instincts to set down in zones. He's good down the field. So we got our work cut out for us with him. They really missed him when he was out early in the season. Their offense really took a big step back, and now they have him back. So, and I'd say this with the running back with Gente is his tape looks a lot better than his stats. You look at his stats; he's averaging 3.7, which isn't great. But then you watch his tape, and you don't see where that is, because that guy is breaking tackles, making people miss. There is like nothing to hit on him. He's like a bowling ball out there, 5'8" and change, and 215, 220 pounds. He's a power running back. I think that he's going to be a good player. But just like every week, we gotta try to stop the run. We gotta try to force them to throw it, and taking his part of the run game away. They're a really good wide zone running team, and it'll be a great challenge for us.